How's it going, everyone? This is your Astrology Horoscope for Monday, May 27, 2024. I'm astrologer Alex Skyles, and welcome to the Moonbase. Hope you guys had a great weekend. It's good to be here with all of you. This is an exciting week. Mercury getting closer to Uranus, Mercury dispositing Venus, Jupiter, and the Sun. We're going to have a Venus-Sun conjunction this weekend. Or this week, my bad. There's a lot of excitement, and this is not a time to sit still, right? Gemini does not like to sit still. With Mars and Aries, it's no time to sit still. Mars getting closer to Chiron. Here, it'll be 1 degree away today. And by tomorrow, we're going to have the Mars Chiron, both at 20, well, here in the next day and a half. But this is no time to sit still. This Mars Chiron getting closer together is like, the longer we sit still, the more we kind of lose that fire, that passion. Okay? We have to keep acting upon the instinctual flame that is lit within us. And that intuition of that fire is trying to carry us more towards a more healed version of ourselves. And, since February with that Chiron North Node conjunction, it's kind of taken us on this path of trying to understand where these wounds and where the hurt and where the suffering and the pain and the losses, especially in our relationships with the South Node in Libra here on the opposite end that we had back in February, and with the eclipses. Now it's like, we've been able to identify where we need to put our healing energy and where do we need to focus the healing, right? And when we had that Mercury retrograde in Aries, that became very clear. So now we're starting to feel that fire and that passion be lit to actually put those things into action. And after Mars gets off of Chiron, there's going to be a whole new confidence and a whole new wave of, I got this shit coming through. Now I understand. And with Mercury getting closer to Uranus, there's a whole new understanding coming through of I wish I would have thought of that before. Even though this was the moment where that thought was supposed to connect and come through, but it is like that, holy shit, now I get it. The connection is made. This is new neurons and new neural pathways starting to connect. And Mercury dispositing Jupiter, Venus, and the Sun as they're getting closer together. This is like not just new opportunities or new financial opportunity, like a whole new way to branch outside of the comfort zone, right? Like when we were in Taurus season, there was this push to kind of move out of our comfort zones, but at the same time, it's like, we get really comfortable in those states, especially with Jupiter there and Venus and the two benefics, but Jupiter, Uranus is trying to help us expand our knowledge and connect with people in new ways on a spiritual level with different kinds of people who aren't necessarily like you, which is Uranian and Aquarian, But this is the moment where, there's a lot of love in the air with Venus getting closer to the Sun here. So new relationships are forming, new opportunities, new financial opportunities. But those are going to start to show up, if you're willing to get outside of your same old pattern and routine, all through Taurus season. It was trying to shake us up. To move out of that, to move out of the stuckness, or to move out of the routine, do something different, And when we did, that really set us on this path of really being able to say, okay, this is the future I want. This is the kind of stability I want in my life, but I can't keep doing the same thing over and over. So that's where Jupiter is expanding for us in our lives. And now with Jupiter and Gemini, it's like, okay, if you're willing to kind of connect with people in a whole different way, connect with people who aren't like you, really get different people's perspectives, this is going to be very expansive. Even just taking a trip to somewhere that's unfamiliar, right? Not far away, not like some other country or some foreign land, like even just a city nearby you, or like a neighborhood across the way, maybe that you've never even seen, and you find some new things. It's like, damn, like that was right down the street this whole time, and I've been here for 10 years and I didn't even know, and that those discoveries can be really expansive in ways that, we can't really foresee quite yet, And this moon's going to trine Jupiter before it trines Venus. So it is like really like helping us, like, okay, like if we really want to connect and really expand, like we have to be willing to take a risk, and this moon Pluto conjunct too, before it trines Jupiter or after it trines Jupiter, before it trines Venus, it's like, being willing to like look into those deeper places within ourselves to really get a bigger, broader understanding of the horizons within us on that unconscious level. And I think a lot of the emotions, or the more detached emotions that we can feel today, can really give us some insights and some expansive insights on that deeper part of ourselves. Where we really want to connect with others, but sometimes we feel disconnected, but really we feel disconnected because it's hard to look at the good and the bad all at once. Sometimes we only see the bad, we don't even see the good because, we only focus on the bad. But then like sometimes we're in that state of naivety where it's like, oh, everything's fine, everything's perfect. And we don't even want to look at the bad because we just don't want to face it. So with this moon Pluto conjunction today too, when it trines Jupiter, it's really helping us like look at these deeper places from a more neutral standpoint. And by the evening, this moon's going to trine Venus, which is getting really close to the sun. And it's just like, this is really helping us break free from where we've been stuck in relationship patterns. Big time. And what's exciting is that Mars is getting ready to make their conjunction at the same time as this. We have some, look, we just went through some of the most important conjunctions of the year in Taurus season, which we've talked about a lot. But we're also, like, these are the conjunction points with Mars and Chiron, Mercury, Uranus, and Venus and the Sun, where it's kind of like helping us get over that hump. Getting over a massive, big hump in a more personal way, right? Mars, Mercury, and Venus are personal. These are personal planets. Okay, so all the more things that are closest to us, like Jupiter and Uranus, they're outer planets. That's expanding our lives in unique, innovative ways and crazy ways that, are much larger and bigger than us, right? And that are much longer scale of time that's playing out. But with Mars and Chiron conjunction, Mercury, Uranus conjunction, and the Sun, Venus and the Sun conjunction, it's like, the environments that we're in, the people that we're connected with, looking at things differently, coming up with new, unique ways to find solutions in life, to find more practical ways to bring more security into our lives, and really putting this healing that really needs to be fucking, some motivation towards actually taking action on this healing. It's like, okay, like, I haven't done enough to really give myself the love that I need. It's like, now it's like we're feeling this urge to like put it into action. So, our bodies, our minds, and our hearts and our love are all conjuncting with very important planets that are really helping us get to a different state, or transcending to this next phase and this next wave, of what we're feeling like on a very personal level, right? Like when I look back to the Jupiter-Sun conjunction, the Jupiter-Uranus, like those are much broader expansions and expansive conjunctions that like, are going to be playing out for a much longer period of time. But we're really going to be feeling all of this like immediately over this next week. Okay? This is like such a big opportunity to really transform our identity and our physical being and break out of thought patterns of where we've been stuck and really like get over this hump of, especially like with the South Node in Libra, Venus dispositing the South Node when it's making its Sun conjunction. It's like shit, like, we've been going through a lot of stuff in our relationships in our lives, whether it is your marriage partner or the person you love or friendships or family relationships, now with the Sun and Venus coming together with Mars, Chiron, and Mercury and Uranus, this is the moment where it's like, okay, we can do new things. We can, branch outside and, move on. Conjunctions are like new moons. They are new moons, essentially. So this is like an acceptance that's coming through. And Mars, Chiron making their conjunction too. It's like, just accepting where things didn't work out. Accepting that I can't control that situation, or I can't control that relationship. I can't control the outcome. You get sore in the ego because you projected it to be a certain way and it wasn't what you thought it was. So now we can start to move through these things and start to overcome them and move on into a whole new phase. And definitely with Mercury getting closer to Uranus, this is really helping us break free from some, patterns. Mercury in Taurus is kind of slow. When Mercury was in Aries, even though it was retrograde, it's still just like bam, 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 bam. So it is. When you take your time and you really sit and think and you just kind of look around in your environment over this next week, with Mercury getting closer to Uranus, that like when you are willing to be patient, that's when the new understandings are going to come through and the new ideas, and the new pathways that are going to connect. It is about being patient and taking your time, thinking before you speak, Mercury in Aries is a little different, like it doesn't even think about what it says. And, before it can even have a thought, it's already blurted out a whole fucking assault. Just kidding. Got the Four of Swords. So, it is about being patient, taking your time, getting enough rest. And with Mars Chiron too, like I think too, it's like, It's hard with Mars and Aries to really slow down, okay? So with Mars Chiron, I think this can be a reminder. It's like, you know what? Don't move too quickly. Don't move so impulsively. At times, we need to slow the fuck down and get some rest, And I could say that to myself, honestly. Maybe some of you resonate with this, but I've just fucking go. 16 hours a day, and I really haven't given myself enough rest. So I'm really resonating with this right now, and with Mercury and Taurus too, it's like, what? Stop and smell the roses, because sometimes when we get caught up in the fucking hamster wheel of life and, it's just nonstop, you can, it's easy to lose yourself in that. It really is. And I think too, with Mars Chiron getting closer, it's like self-care is a big theme. With Mars Chiron getting closer together, really looking at yourself, identifying, okay, like this is where I need to focus. This is where I need to do better for myself. Better habits, better routine. Because Mercury and Uranus making their conjunction is definitely wanting us to like shake up the routine, like, and maybe some of these routines too aren't the most healthy routines. So I think looking at those kinds of things this week too, it's like, well, What's your eating habits? What's your sleeping habits? You know, what are the same old patterns that give you the same old results? You know, so going through these conjunctions this week with Mars, Chiron, Mercury, Uranus, Venus, Sun conjunction, like we're moving into a whole new territory, you know, going into next week. But this is the week where it's like, wow, we could start to feel like we're on the other side of things. The energy can lighten up a bit and not feel so like, fuck, like, you know, over the past few months, going through the eclipses and Mercury retrograde across Chiron, you know, as amazing as it was, and as amazing as it is, because, you know, that Jupiter-Uranus, Sun-Jupiter energy is going to be carrying for a very long time, but in a more, not in such a personal way, and, you know, expanding the more larger parts of our lives and part of ourselves, right? But this week, all these conjunctions are very personal, you know. Mars, our physical body. Venus, our love life, you know, our financial life, right? Mercury, our minds, our environment. So there's a whole new level of newness coming in this week that it's almost like, fuck, like when are we actually going to get to this point? And this is the point, even though we just went through some of the most amazing conjunctions and transits that are going to be impacting our lives. Not just over the next 6 months when we get to the Taurus full moon, or the next year when Jupiter goes into Cancer, or the next 12 years when Jupiter comes into Taurus again, and then we have the next Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. It's like, this is a very personal week, you know. And all the things that we need are right in front of us. And sometimes with that Four of Swords, we just need to get some fucking rest. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful Monday, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace out.